Oh, whoa. I just turned off the music. And welcome to the
Oh no.
Fanatical Postgame Show. Yes, that was a thumbs up at the beginning of the show, but it's really thumbs down for the Brownies. Browns lose tonight 36-19 against the Los Angeles Rams out there in sunny California, and it was another dud of a game for those Browns. We welcome Samuel and we welcome the Village Elliott tonight. Thank you for guys being here. How are you feeling tonight?
Terrible.
Worse than
Not very
terrible.
happy.
Not a good feeling. Not a good feeling for our Browns.
No, not at all. I think we're all a little pissed off, a little bit irritable, like many Browns fans across the globe. Another game where, it started out with some promise. We brought in a new quarterback, not a new quarterback, of course, Joe Flacco, who came back out of sitting. Well, he wasn't necessarily sitting around, but he came in, did some really good things for the Browns early on in this game. We can dissect a lot of what happened with Joe Flacco in this one. Made a big blooper toward the end with an interception. Some folks are talking about that, but we have a lot more to talk about, including that Browns defense that really was a letdown again. For at least personally for me, I thought it was another dud of a performance, and now the Browns will come back to Cleveland. They have a 7-5 record, and we can talk about that toward the end of the show potentially here as they're going to face the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have a Monday night game tomorrow against the Cincinnati Bengals. So some of us will be watching that to see how those two teams shape up. Just
are
a
we
little
rooting
bit.
for the Bengals? I think we
I
are
think so.
because
Yes.
the Jaguars are the competition for the wild card. I don't think the Browns are contending for the division anymore at this point.
No. So in this game, the Browns got off to a super start. Joe Flacco did a great job, took the team right down the field. I think it was a 9-play or 75-yard drive that he ended up throwing a nice pass to Jerome Ford, who on a wheel route scored a touchdown to open up the scoring. The Browns defense held on they gave up a field goal instead of a touchdown on the Rams' first possession. And then things started really slowing down. Browns couldn't really move the ball. They had not a 3 and out one time, and then they got a first down, another 3 and out after that. In the meantime, the Rams took the lead, where the Browns defense again disappeared. The secondary, the rookie wide receiver for the Rams ran freely, 70 yards for a touchdown, put them up 10-7. Stayed that way almost to the end of the first half. The Browns actually came back, finally got a field goal with who we always think is a trusted kicker in Dustin Hopkins, and he tied it up at 10. But again, the Browns defense, with 2 minutes to go, they couldn't stop the Rams, and they took the lead 13-10. They entered the next half then up or down 13-10. At that point, I think the Browns tied it again at 13. And then again, the defense failed them again. The Rams took the lead 20-13. Browns, though, Flacco was working really well, had a really nice drive late in the third quarter that took up a lot of time, 12 or 13 play drive. Even got Pierre Strong, the running back, involved in that series. Almost tied it. They got the touchdown, but they missed the extra point. We're cursed in Cleveland. It was 20-19. But we got the ball back. It's still 20-19. The Browns defense made a stop. And yet Joe Flacco, for some reason, decided that he could throw the ball over the defenders, and that did not go very well. Former Brown John Johnson intercepted the pass. And from there, the Rams scored another touchdown. It was 27-19. They turned the ball over again. Rams scored another touchdown, made it 34, and then they got a safety at the end, which thus is the score. So I'm pissed off with the Browns defense again. I'm not blaming this on Kevin Stefanski. I know some people are talking about Kevin, and I guess there is one though moment. I know Village Elliott, you'd like to talk about that. I know we talked about off air toward the end of the game. I think that would be good to talk about. So those were my thoughts. I think it's going to be a real struggle. Overall, I thought that Flacco did a lot of good things, and so I'm not blaming Flacco much at all in this one. And I certainly don't not blaming Kevin Stefanski. I thought he had another well coached, well managed game. So um, let's just open up with Sam first, and then go to you, Village Elliott, on your thoughts here in the
Yeah,
opener.
Kevin wasn't terrible, but it was just the defense, which is something I wasn't expecting to say this game was the defense was what let us down. The offense
Yeah,
didn't do very much anyway, but
no,
it's okay. The offense was okay. Joe Flacco did things. We all of us didn't expect them to be anything insane, but it was just the defense not being able to get any sort of stop. And then when they did, the offense did nothing with the stop. And so it's just the defense that just could not. I mean, we had no sacks, no interceptions, and no sacks is not something you expect from this Browns defense. So I just think it was just the defense couldn't get anything done.
what other injuries on the defense that were reported? I know Denzel Ward was out, and we talked about Miles in the pregame. But outside of that, were there any other players of significance that we were
I don't
missing in the defense?
think anyone got
Because
hurt in the
I'm
defense.
I was hearing like people are saying, well, the defense is beat up. I'm like, no, they aren't. I'm like, no, they aren't. I think Greg Newsom needs to shut up and just play the game. He's the most bizarre player on the face of the planet. I've decided. I don't have any. That kid just talks, and he has nothing to back it up. He was a decent player at Northwestern, but never picked off a pass. He had one pick, which is a huge, in the win that they got a couple weeks ago, which I give him credit for. But outside of that, he's just running around. It doesn't seem like he's ever in the right position, and I just don't like watching him play anymore. Martin Emerson, this kid on the secondary, he seems to be getting lit up here and there these days. In the first half, he had that horrible pass interference call. I mean, he bounced up from it and was like, he knew he had, like, I'm like, dude, like, come on, like, so
I
anyway,
listened to the TV commentary on that.
yeah,
and they kind of excused it and they said, well, he saved a touchdown with that penalty.
yeah. Village Elliott, what are your initial takes on everything that we just already talked about?
You can just call me Elliot. We're a first name basis here.
Okay.
But I thought we were really expecting a lot from Joe Flacco in his first game.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's Flacco mania. We just fell in love with Joe during the game. Actually, not me, but the coaching staff did. Yes. And they called plays that they absolutely should not have called based on the fact that he had just 1 week with the team. And I'm thinking about the bomb play, unless Flacco did that on his own, in which case fine him, make him run gassers after practice. And the other play that really upset me was going for it on 4th and 5 instead of trusting your defense to get a 3 and out and get the ball back that way. No, we're going to trust our offense to get 5 yards on 4th down. And I thought that was asking an awful lot for somebody. It's like we're on a first date and we're going to trust somebody with our credit card. Come on.
Yeah.
This is not a good idea. It's way too early in the relationship to have so much infatuation with Joe. I think, very highly of Joe as a quarterback based on his work in New York against the Browns last season. It is not easy to be a quarterback for the New York Jets because they have no idea what they're doing on the offensive side of the ball. Now, the New York media blames the quarterback whenever something goes bad, but it's not the quarterback's fault. It's because they don't know how to play offense. And so I think Flacco is a very credible quarterback when he's had some time and some repetition in practice, which he has not had with the Browns. Sure. So I think this whole thing is crazy. I think falling in love with Flacco after 1 week is that's on the coaching staff. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Well, just to throw some numbers out at you, one number in particular, Flacco threw the ball 44 times, and the team
Way
ran
too
the ball,
much.
and the team ran the ball 24 times. So again,
That's upside down.
It's been that way the last several weeks. Same thing. And again, those of, and I'm supporting Stefanski here. Okay, so like, I believe that he generally called a pretty good game, but whenever you start criticizing him in this area of the game where it's off kilters, 44 passes, 24 passes, all those people who are really supporting Stefanski always go to this whole sort of like, well, it's the situations and stuff. And I'm like, it is, but it isn't. And it's frustrating because again, in that the Browns had just come off of that drive where they used Pierre Strong and they had Kareem Hunt, right? Those were the two backs where they went that long way. Jerome Ford was not there. That next drive when they bring in Flacco and they're still down 20-19, they brought back Jerome Ford, I think. And that was it the first play in that series that Flacco threw the bomb, or was it the second play? I think it might have been the first play. It's just the idea that you just come off of this great series where you went 12 or 13 yards, scored a touchdown, and then who on that call? I mean, it was a bad move. I mean, the bomb and everything that would have happened there, but it is frustrating. 44 passes, 24 runs, and you're just not going to win it. And then people might look at the score and say, well, they had the pass ball. No, they didn't. The game was virtually tied. If it weren't for Dustin Hopkins' mistake, it would have been a tie game. Then, think about it that way. I mean, the Browns, if they had made the stop, it's 2020. Didn't happen that way. But how would Kevin have, sculpted that next drive? I don't think that he would have Flacco. I don't know why he had Flacco doing that. If that was that on Flacco, or again, like you were just suggesting, or not? I mean,
I can't believe that Flacco called his own number, audibleized his own number. I should say that.
Yeah.
But it was an awful decision. Whoever made that decision, I believe it was probably Kevin called that.
Okay.
Like, I'm going to catch everybody sleeping, and I've got the utmost confidence in Joe Flacco, and he's just having a Flacco fantasy. He's having Flacco mania, and I wrote an editorial and I did a show about Flacco mania and saying that, look, this is not appropriate. This guy has had one freaking week with the team. Let's see how he does. Start him off slowly. We need to have a rather vanilla offense, depend on the defense to win this game. That's what they should have done. And I think.
But Elliot, the defense in this game, I mean, the defense, I'm just generally speaking, I guess I'm getting away from that, or I'm not trusting the defense. Like the more this season is.
Yeah. Okay. But you can say that because you saw how it played out. Yeah. I don't know that that's what you would expect going into the game. That should not have been the game plan to give up 36 points. That was not in the game plan. Maybe it should have been. Maybe they knew that the team was really banged up and that Myles Garrett wasn't going to have a good game. Maybe they knew that and that their defense was terrible and that they needed to take chances on offense in order to have a chance to win. Yeah. Maybe, you could advance that theory. But based on what we know, the Browns defense is better than their offense and that they're better off. Well, it's very hard for me to believe that their best chance to win is to trust the quarterback that had 1 week of practice. That's very hard for me to accept. Now, you could postulate a set of circumstances where that might have been the case, but I find it very implausible. I just think that the coach fell in love with the idea. He watched the replacement 3 times before the game and thought, oh, yeah, okay. Falco, sounds like the same.
Well, I did write a story about it the other day or this morning.
Well, you did, in fact, and it's not that far-fetched. That's the way people think. That's the way offensive coaches think. They believe in miracles.
Let's go down to you, Sam.
I want from above. I believe, Lord. I believe in Flacco. I am ready to accept your gift, Lord. Let Flacco shine.
Sam, let's talk a little bit about where do you think that this game, I mean, when you were watching it, where did you think that the Browns made mistakes? And
It was
was there
Flacco. Throwing the ball 44 times with him just is too much.
Mhm.
Because the thing is, like Elliot has said a few times, they didn't have enough. He didn't have enough time to really get acclimated to the offense. He didn't know what he was doing fully, and where he knew exactly how everything was supposed to go and stuff like that. But I think Joe Flacco throwing it 44 times was just too many times. And we only ran the ball 24 times, I believe.
Yeah, 24. Yep.
Yeah, so that was probably too little too. And we had 86 penalties or 86 yards for penalties,
Yards.
not 86
Mhm.
penalties. That would be a
Uh-huh.
lot of penalties. That's how many penalties
Yes.
were called in that Dallas Seahawks game.
Ah,
But I think that throwing the ball 44 times was what killed us because he only completed 23 of them. That's almost one less pass completed, and he would have only completed 50% of his passes.
yeah. I'm
Well,
sorry,
I want
Sam.
to make another
You can
point about that,
yeah.
building on what Sam had to say, is that when the quarterback going into this game did not have the full playbook, and
Sure.
so therefore, the Rams have a full defensive playbook, and so they're able to make in-game adjustments, and the Browns offense is not able to make in-game adjustments. So once they
Yeah.
figure out what
They're running off
Flacco's
a script,
doing, they
basically.
know that, okay, he's got about 10 or 15 plays that he can run, and we can figure what those are, and make adjustments, and then the Browns don't have a counter for that.
Let
And
me
when you throw 44 times, then they've seen everything that you've got.
yeah.
There's no surprises. They make the adjustments, and then you're dead.
Let me bring up another situation because it's getting a lot of play in social media land, which we all love. And again, thanks for following us here on the Fanatical Elfz Network, by the way, and download us on Apple, Spotify. We'll have this show out. We just want you to go follow us. We have our downloads continue to just progressing. We've got the Oracle Seek shows. We've got Sam's Brown's breakdowns, and so many more shows coming up this week. One area I want to talk about is again late in this game. It was 3rd and 1. And mysteriously, and that's what people are talking about because there isn't a good replay of this play because I believe, like a lot of people believe that like the NFL is trying to hide something here because there is no like they called a illegal motion on the Browns saying that the Browns center Pochik moved the ball somehow again, and they called it. And it was in a critical moment where the Browns were just right there, and it pushed them back 5 yards. And I think it was right before Elliot. You said that they should have maybe punted the game because at that point it was still like a 7 or 8 point game. This mystery call. I mean, I haven't seen a good replay of it, and I think that it's again one of these things where the NFL. I mean, you could say this about probably any play that you see out there. There's holding penalties. There's all sorts of things, and it's just so judgmental by referees and the way the NFL is gearing these games. It's very worrisome, and a lot of people tonight are really mad about that. How do you feel about that play in particular, and anything else about that topic?
I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, it was interesting, but I don't know, man. It was just something that I don't know, it felt weird. I think we probably could have done something maybe a little better, maybe not, who knows. I mean, hindsight 2020, who knows how it would have went if we did something else, but it was just a strange little event there.
It did have a real bearing on that because the following I don't know what it was, the following play, there was an incomplete pass that then Stefanski challenged, but he really was pissed off about what happened on the previous play, and you could see that on the sideline. He was really venting to the refs. So I'm not sure. I don't know if Elliot, you saw that play or not, but again, like our contributor Joel Cade has mentioned this before because the Browns have been called on it before this season, And you never hear of any other team being called for this. It's only the Cleveland Browns. I bet there's only been 2 plays that have been penalized. The Browns, I bet, are the only team this season that's been penalized for this phantom call. Rod Bloom, our contributor for Browns Blitz, is also questioning it. And Rod's watched a lot of football, and he's like, another phantom call that we're not seeing replays on again. And also, for example, the touchdown by the Rams, another example where the first touchdown by the Rams, or maybe the second one, where the kid catches the ball. Did he cross the plane? There was no, I didn't see, at least I watched the game live. I didn't see a replay that from the goal line. I saw
Pylon
one.
cam.
Yeah. Did you see anything? I didn't see anything on the TV. I didn't know if Elliot, did you see anything on either one of those plays that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I feel like I'm an expert in the techniques used by the center in order to grab the ball and hike it. So I don't think I can comment on that. But
well, I can. I can say that the Browns got the got messed over on that one big time. I think that's something that traditionally the Browns teams always get sort of, and so like it was funny because you go back to like that 49ers game with the Browns won and how they were benefiting, or like the Colts game where they were benefiting from some mysterious calls that were being called against the Colts. I don't know. There's a lot that this is a much bigger topic to talk about, but again, it really bit the Browns badly in this one. So
yeah, I do think that in general that the offensive line is allowed to wiggle, especially the center is allowed to wiggle a lot more than they used to back in the day. And they've just sort of skirted the rules. I've noticed that. I don't know if that's been a rule change or that the referees have just gotten tired of calling, illegal motion on the offensive line or what. But yeah, they had to be motionless. Now they don't.
Well, let's take a quick break here on the Fanatical Elfz Network. We're going to come back. We're going to talk anything more at the end of this game, and then looking forward to next week when they play the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll be right back. And we're back. How are those tantalizing commercials? Did you want to run out and buy everything?
Incredible.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right,
I'm currently in my car buying something right now. I just have a background up.
Good news for the Brownies today. The good news is that the Pittsburgh Steelers lost to the Arizona Cardinals, and the Denver Broncos lost to the Houston Texans. I'm not sure if that's as big as
good news.
Well, I think it's a mixed bag because now I think the Texans are 7-5.
Are a threat. Texans are a threat.
Yeah.
They beat
There's
us,
no way. I'm very concerned. I don't. So I'm looking at the schedule here. That I think what are there 5 games left, 6 games left. So they play Jacksonville next week. Then they play the Bears. Both games are at home. I don't see how they're going to get by Jacksonville. Jacksonville's a very good team, and the Browns don't have a quarterback. They have Flacco mania. Then they have the Bears. Now the Bears, they got Justin Fields. They've won some games. I'm gonna give the Browns that win. Let's just say just because they annihilated the Bears. But then they have to. I'm trying to think who they go on the road to play next. They go down to Houston. Yeah. I don't see that as a win at all. Yeah, and then they come home and they play Thursday night against the Jets, the lowly Jets. That's a win. Hopefully, I would think that would be a win. And then they finish the season in Cincinnati at the Bengals without Joe Schmo. So I could definitely see the Browns get to 10 wins. 3 wins would get them to 10. If they get
that'll be 10-6?
10-7. 10-7. So that I could see them get that and maybe get in, considering that they've already beaten Baltimore, they've already beaten Cincinnati, they've beaten all the teams in the division. So I certainly think the Browns, if they can get that 10 win mark, can sneak into the playoffs. But I don't know. I mean, you still got to get by those other teams, and based on what we're seeing the last couple of weeks,
they have quarterbacks.
Yes.
They actually have a quarterback that isn't going to leave in like 2 weeks and be replaced with someone else.
I know.
We've got Flacco mania. Oh,
Yeah, he'll stay.
we'll never run the ball again. Just pass, 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 and
Well,
never run the ball again.
And well, I guess you could look at it this way though too. Like we talked about it in the pregame, Samuel, earlier about Joe Flacco, that he's 10-1 at Cleveland Browns Stadium. He's 18-3 lifetime against the Browns. So I want to say that the Browns are going to lose this game to Jacksonville, but considering Joe Flacco's 10-1 record in Cleveland Browns Stadium, and I know it's a different team, but we could give them the win because they're at
I wouldn't
home.
mind.
No,
I think
no.
DTR is
that
going to
win,
be ready
too.
and play, though, don't you think?
Yes, I think he will be. I know our colleague Steve Gill was saying off air that he thinks that the Browns would be better off going back to DTR, but I don't know. I thought
You've
Joe
got
Flacco.
Flacco-mania, and you want him to stay as the number one quarterback based on the fact that he looks so great with his 44 passes today. Is that what you're telling me?
I don't know what I'm telling you. No, I'm not
Your
saying that.
brain has been deranged.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that.
Stefanski has talked you into it.
No.
Oh, he looks so great. He threw the ball 44 times. He completed more than 50% of his passes.
I am not saying that. No. I will say this, though.
He was so elusive in the pocket.
Elliot. But
he's been to the Super Bowl. Flacco-mania. It's real. Huh?
Okay. So the idea now here is that
gonna die.
Flacco. Well, okay, Flacco. Okay, I mean, to be honest, though, there were people, and I agree with some of these assessments that during the game that we have not seen. We haven't seen a guy. I know Deshaun can razzle and dazzle with his legs and run out of the pocket and slide and go for 20 yards, which Flacco's never going to do. So that part of Deshaun Watson's game is better than Joe Flacco. Obviously, Joe Flacco is going to be 39 years old in a couple of weeks, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. His birthday's coming up. He'll be 39. But his arm and the way what he can do with that, I mean, I haven't seen personally. Have you seen Deshaun Watson in his time in Cleveland throw the ball? I mean, go back and watch Joe Flacco's throws and go watch Deshaun Watson's throws. If I had to choose who I wanted to quarterback my team on a winning drive with the ball in his hands and throwing the deep ball, I'm going Joe Flacco any day of the week. Am I crazy? Yeah. No way. I mean, Joe Flacco.
You are crazy.
No, how is that crazy?
You are crazy.
Why are people getting run out and laughed at by that
Tom
assessment?
Brady say? Tom Brady says that Super Bowls are won in the off season. Now, how much work did Joe Flacco have for the team in the off season?
Okay, I don't.
0.
Okay, so you just assume because Deshaun Watson went through training camp and everything like that. By the way, I just didn't like the look today. Them showing Deshaun up there with his girlfriend. I get it. He can't be on the field to play because he's injured and everything, but he's not even wearing Browns gear. What the hell? For God's sakes, man, he's in Los Angeles. For God's sakes, he's on the Cleveland Browns and he's not wearing any sort of Browns gear.
Did he wear Rams gear or what did he wear?
Well, no, he was wearing some stupid thing. I mean, come on, man.
Stupid thing.
Well, come on. He's the franchise. He's the face of the freaking franchise for the next foreseeable future.
Well, he doesn't want to wear stuff and get beer thrown at him.
Wear the Browns. Do something.
Not in the Rams stadium. No.
Oh, come on. He's a Cleveland Brown.
No, and start a fight in the stands. No.
Are you kidding me? No. Come on, man.
No. You try to be as
this is Elliot. This is
possible.
But this is why.
No, you don't want to.
The fan base doesn't care for him.
No. You are not going to start a fight in the stands just because you're a Cleveland Brown and I'm going to wear my uniform and who wants to fight me? I'm going to. Yeah.
Well, it was a bad look.
No.
I'm sorry. Half of the all of us.
Sunglasses like this. You wear a hat like this and try to. Not let anybody see you.
Is he not a member of the Cleveland Browns? Is he a member of the Cleveland Browns, Elliot?
You do not wear your Brown stuff in the enemy stadium
He's a
No,
Cleveland
you
Brown.
absolutely do not. No,
That
absolutely
makes no
not.
sense to me. Makes no sense.
No,
And that's illogical too, Elliot. Your take on it that doesn't make any
no,
sense.
no. You're not going to start a fight in the stands. You can't do that.
He's Deshaun Watson.
Show me one quarterback who's done that. Who while on the team's roster has gone into the stands of an enemy stadium wearing the enemy uniform or their colors. It's never been. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that.
Well, we're okay.
They
We'll
would
just
start a fight
let
in the
that right.
stands. They would get beer thrown at them. It would not be good. It would just not.
Well,
Now, if he was in a box, which with protection, in a window, then maybe yes. But but not in the stands in the open air. You
and they
couldn't
couldn't have
do
got
that.
him a box there. You're telling me that Deshaun
He's
Watson
got the money. He could buy it himself.
Yeah, come on. Like
If he was in the box, then yes. But if he's in the open air, you would not do stuff to attract attention, negative attention to yourself.
well,
You
he didn't look
couldn't possibly expect him to do that. That's totally unrealistic.
all right.
That's crazy.
Well, let me go down here to Samuel. Samuel, final thoughts on this evening's game. I know we've been rambling for the last 5 minutes.
No, I was just listening, just kind of just sitting there, just taking both sides. I don't know, man. There's a lot to unpack. I mean, we'll see how Joe Flacco does. I think depending on how DTR progresses, we'll see if he plays next week. I think it'll be DTR next week though. I still think if DTR clears and he does his thing and comes back healthy and shows out well in practice, I think it will still be DTR. But if
Yeah.
DTR is showing a bit signs of kind of like just late concussion symptoms and still isn't throwing properly, I think it still will be Joe Flacco. But we got to run the ball more, a little more at least. Just try it and stop throwing 44 passes with a guy who hasn't had the offense for more than a week and a half. And then Puka Nacua, he was killing us. I mean, he was just.
Oh,
I mean, technically, if
he's
without that like
killing the
70
entire
yard.
league. I mean, he's had a hell of a season. A rookie
Oh yeah,
kid
I
who I've
know.
never heard of.
The
Where did
story
he
is
play college
the
ball?
funny thing about Puka was I was in I know no one really cares about my fantasy league, but I almost picked him up. I had him he was in free agency, and I'm like, this guy looks good. And then I'm like, yeah, I won't pick him up, and now he's like really good. So I'm a bit disappointed in myself, but it's okay. But I don't know, man. We'll see. The defense needs to figure their stuff out because like I said, they let the Rams start getting hot at the end of the game and they just blew away because they had it close for a second there. I mean, it was 10-10 for a minute there, and then the Rams just took off, and the defense just couldn't slow them down.
Thank you, Sam. I appreciate you coming on the pregame show today. Even though you are wearing that, well, I like the Rangers hat. I don't know about the
Yeah,
Cowboys stuff
I
you're
just
wearing.
have it on because it's comfortable, man. I got to
By the
rep the
way,
Rangers, though.
Sam, I got your Christmas gift, and
Yeah, I saw. Thank you.
it's getting mailed to me, and I'm gonna mail it in turn to you. So
That feels unnecessary. I feel like you could have
we
gotten it just
love you,
shipped in my
Sam.
house.
We appreciate you being part of this group, and he is a youngster that is doing an amazing job for us here on the Fanatical Elves Network with his Browns Breakdowns podcast, and Sam does this for free. And so we just and Elliot, we're making some pennies, but that's about it. We really appreciate you, Sam, being on the show. Elliot, final takes.
Well, I think the Browns need to create an identity for themselves, and I'm not even sure that the head coach understands who the team is. I think that the team is a defensive team that's going to struggle to score points, and I think that they need to come to grips with the fact that that's who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they will be led by a rookie quarterback this season. I don't think that Joe Flacco is really up to the week in, week out grind of being a starting quarterback. I think he's better off being the backup, and I think once he learns the offense, he can be effective, but he's not going to be a superstar quarterback and lead us to the promised land. I don't believe that's his role.
I agree. Even Thank you so much again, Elliot, for being part of the show tonight. And I know you'll be bringing your Oracle. I know you have a very important Oracle Speaks show that will be coming out. I think we said Tuesday, maybe. The last
there'll
one.
be one tomorrow as well.
Oh, good. Okay,
We'll
I'm
be
anxious
seeing that later tonight.
Excellent. Well, we'll look forward to listening to you and all the shows that are here on the Fanatical Elfz Network. We'll be bringing you one of those pretty much every day as we get ready to the game in a couple weeks against in a week against Jacksonville.
May I add one quick thing? I just quickly looked up the Legion of Boom 2013. I know they were definitely much better offensively than the Browns, but they were a
Yes.
very good defensive team. And I mean, if you look at a few of the games, 12 points in week 1, 14 points in week 8, 19 points in week 14. They knew they were a defensive team and stopped trying to score 80 million points, which I feel like is what we aren't the Miami Dolphins, let's be honest, who can score 50 points, and they're not a defensive team. They know that they can
the
blow
Miami
out a
Dolphins
team.
will never. And I don't. Yeah, Miami's never going to win a Super Bowl. I mean, they can.
Yeah, but like the thing about the Dolphins is the identity is we're going to score more points than you, period. And our identity is we're going to score more points than you, but we're not. But then we're going to play a good defensive game, but we're not. And so we got to pick something. We got to pick something and stick to that. And that's how we're going to figure out what this team is.
Your assessment are right, spot on, and look forward to hearing more of your commentary as the weeks go on. We appreciate the downloads. We're continuing to boost those downloads up every month, and we are doing it only because of you, the Browns fans who are loyal. Spread the love, spread the word about the Fanatical Elfz Network. Guys, thank you again. Go Browns. It was a tough night as they lose 36-19 out there in Los Angeles.
It's going to be a tough night, like every night now.
Yeah.
2 weeks
All right,
in a row.
guys. Take care, everybody. Toodaloo.